Hey guys, Sort 5 here with the Premier League predictions video. They should be to either side of me. They should pop up on screen, but the Premier League kicks off in 4 hours. We're going to do the predictions. Let's get right into it with 20th place. We're going to go from 20th to 1st. We're going to do top goal scorer, top assister, best keeper, player of the season, young player of the season, Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, Ballon d'Or. But yeah, let's get into it. Number 20. I am going with Watford. Now, I feel like on paper Watford have probably got the worst squad in the league, kind of player for player. So I also think they're going to be relying on, probably their best player is Ismaila Sarr. It's just whether they can kind of get the results, if the keepers can put in big performance. It's the cycling GK can put in a big performance. But I do think they will go right back down. Unfortunately, the cycling GK vlogs will be good, but I do think they'll go back down. 19th place, I have got Southampton. Now they've sold Danny Ings to Aston Villa. I think today it was confirmed that they've sold Vestergaard to Leicester. So they've lost a good striker in Danny Ings and they've lost a pretty good defender in Vestergaard. So what they've got James Ward-Prowse to kind of deal with the load in the midfield. I mean, they've got Armstrong. They've signed Adam Armstrong. They already had Stuart Armstrong, I think, from Scotland. They've got a couple of players. I think Theo Walcott's back there on a permanent. I think it's their time to go back down, unfortunately. James Ward-Prowse might even leave before the ship sinks, could we say. But I think it fully depends on whether Adam Armstrong and Brozier can adapt to the Premier League quick enough and start scoring the goals and replace Danny Ings quick enough. Obviously, they've got Che Adams already up top, so it'll be interesting to see if they can put in the same kind of goal contributions that Danny Ings has been putting up. But I do doubt it. And I do see them going down, and unfortunately, I think I see Ralph Hasenhüttl either walking away or being sacked, which is unfortunate. He's a decent manager. Next up in 18th, we've got Burnley. Now, Burnley, very similar to Southampton. I just think it's probably their time. They will probably go down. I think they've made one signing. I think they had a takeover and they've only made one signing. So it does seem like it's probably their time to go down. I don't know if Nick Pope's back from his surgery, but that could be a big blow for them. He probably single-handedly won them a few points last season. But yeah, I do think they're going to go down. Apparently, I think Sean Dyche's contract's up in the next year or two. So maybe even he will go somewhere else. Maybe he'll hop ship. I'm not too sure on that one, but maybe. Just maybe. Staying up, just beating the drop zone, we've got Norwich, newly promoted Norwich. Obviously, they lost Buendia to Villa, one of their best players. But they've still got Cantwell, they've got Pookie, they signed Rashika, they've signed Josh Sargent, Gilmore. They've got a pretty decent Gilmore. Keep an eye on him. But yeah, I think some of those players will step up, and they should just stay up. Obviously, they got relegated a few seasons ago. They probably learnt from that. They've adapted, and hopefully they can they stay up and get my predictions right. Next up, we've got Newcastle in 16th. Now, this is one, I think they could even go down. They could go down because obviously their main two men at Newcastle are Callum Wilson and Alan Saint-Maxime. And apparently Saint-Maxime has said he wants to make it into the France squad for the World Cup, so he's probably going to go hard and try and just put in some banger performances. And obviously Callum Wilson, he's a goal scorer, but he's also got fucked knees, or ACL or MCL, whatever it is. So if he goes down mid-season, they lose out on a large contribution of their goals. It does look like they're signing Joe Willock, but can he reproduce what he did last season, or was it just a purple patch? Very interesting to see, but they could definitely go down instead of Burnley. I could definitely see that one happening. Luckily for them, I had the benefit of the doubt. I thought Callum Wilson stays fit, Saint-Maxime stays fit, Joe Willock does good enough. I think they'll fit right in 16th. Just above them, we've got Brighton, the XG Kings. Now, what they need to do is use the money from Ben White and sign a clinical striker, and they'll zoom up the table. But for right now, they haven't done that. They've still got Maupay, they've still got Connolly. Graham Potter is a decent little manager, I think. And he's done some pretty good stuff with Brighton, but they just need to score more goals. Obviously, the XG Kings. They should, if they actually score and meet their XG, they could go even higher up the pitch. But again, they might be down there. They might struggle. But again, I don't see them getting relegated. Next up is Brentford. The highest placed finishers I've got of the new three coming up. And I think they're going to hit the ground running. I think they're going to hit the ground running. I watched Brentford a few times last season, mainly in the Championship playoffs. But they've got some good players. They've got Ivan Toney. I like the French winger, Brian Mbemu. I think, obviously, we did the Brentford career mode, boys. But yeah, I do see them staying up. I do see them having a good season. I see Ivan Toney having a really good season in terms of goal scoring. And I think they'll be a good team to watch this season. I think there's quite a lot of teams in the Premier League this season that will be good, fun teams to watch. And another one of them teams is 13th place. I've got Crystal Palace. And I've got them, I think they've probably had one of the best windows in the Premier League. Obviously, they lost like 10 players, I think, through them being out of contract. And they've replaced quite a few of them really, really nicely. Obviously, they've got Olise from the Championship. They signed Conor Gallagher on loan from Chelsea. They signed Gehi on a permanent from Chelsea. Anderson from Fulham, who was pretty good partnership with Tosin Adarabioyo last season. And then they've already got Wilf Zaha. They've already got Gaeta, the keeper, who I think is one of the better keepers in the league. Eze, he's injured right now, but when he comes back, he should slot in quite nicely. And they've just got like a really nice kind of attacking area. So they should be pretty fun to watch. And hopefully Benteke can get back in the goals, classic big man up top. Get back in the goals, but yeah, I do see them having a pretty good season. It's just whether or not Patrick Vieira can kind of find a system that works for him. Because I don't think he's been that good at his past few jobs at New York and Nice. I'm not too sure how good he did, but yeah, I got all the faith in him. With the squad he's got a good little squad on his hands. Next up in 12th, I've got Everton. Now, Everton, there's been a lot of negativity surrounding Everton this pre-season. There was a lot of fan outrage when they went for Rafa Benitez. There's the potential unconfirmed Gylfi Sigurdsson incident. It's just a lot of negativity around the place, and obviously that's probably going to have an effect on some of the players. And as well as that, the signings they've made this season are pretty lacklustre compared to last season. This season they've got Damari Gray, Andros Townsend, Asmir Begovic, when last year they were getting James Rodriguez and Allen. Players like that, Carlo Ancelotti going back to Real Madrid, that's going to be a bit of a kick in the teeth, really. He thought he was going to make something there at Everton. But he's gone crawling back to Real Madrid, which is really unfortunate to see. But yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a transitional period for Everton as they kind of adapt to Rafa's style. He's one of those managers that no matter what the fans think he's going to do him, at Chelsea, when he was at Chelsea, no one liked him, but he still did his thing. Newcastle, he wasn't really backed completely by Mike Ashley, still did his thing. So I think maybe in the second season or third or whatever, I think Everton will probably start to play a bit better under Rafa. But it'll be interesting to see the game against Liverpool. Be interesting to see his kind of the reaction from Liverpool fans for him, especially at Anfield. That'll be an interesting one. Next up, we've got 11th, top of the bottom half, is going to be Wolves. Now, a couple of things about Wolves that I thought was going to be a bit interesting this season. I think Adama, he's got to do better than he did last season. Surely that was just a little blip. Surely he's got to do better this season. And I also think it'll be interesting how Trincao adapts to the Premier League, the young Portuguese man. See how Pedro Neto does again this season. Thought he's a good young player. And it'll also be interesting to see how Raul Jimenez adapts his playing style based on the injury that he had last year. Obviously, I think he's got to wear protective headgear, so I don't know if that means he can head the ball and be as dominant in the air as maybe he was before. And maybe Wolves will be a bit more reliant on Fabio Silva. And obviously after the year, he's had a year in the Premier League now. Hopefully he's adapted and hopefully can kind of hit some form and start putting in the goals for Wolves. But again, Nuno's gone. It's a fresh start for a lot of players maybe. And they were trying to play the 4 at the back last season. I think that really hindered him. The new manager apparently plays the 3 at the back. He did so in the Portuguese league. And that's what Wolves are kind of good at. They're best at the 3 at the back. They've got the players to play that system. And it'll be interesting to see how they play. And what kind of position and what kind of who their main talisman is and who their main kind of figures are in the team. But it'll be a very good one, very interesting one. Now, 10th place, we have got Leeds. Now, Leeds, they were newly promoted last season. They play a very interesting style of football, don't they? Obviously, Bielsa's in charge. I think Bielsa's contract's up at the end of this year. So does he stay, does he go? But I think coming into this new season, they should kind of... I think they were plagued with injuries last season, and it'd be nice to see them without injuries, with a fully fit team, how they could compete throughout the season. I think that, obviously, Bamford's going to keep scoring goals. That's what he does best. I think Calvin Phillips is going to take the confidence that he gained from having being one of the better players in the England squad at the Euros. He's going to take that confidence into the new season. I think it's going to make him thrive. He's going to do really well. And, if they can all stay fit, I think they're going to do really well in the league this season. Leeds, they could even push for higher up in the league. It's just going to be interesting to see, obviously, injuries and whatnot. It'd be interesting to see how they do with a fully strength defence. Because obviously last season a lot of people were kind of, yeah, they're good, yeah, they're entertaining, but they don't win matches. And obviously that's because of the defence and whatnot. But I do kind of have faith that they will do well this season. 9th place, we have got West Ham. Now, West Ham, I don't think they've signed anyone. They haven't signed anyone major that's kind of made the news. They've not got Jesse Lingard back. So there's a couple of goals there gone. He's one of the main reasons that they actually got the European football. And it'd be interesting to see if whether Said Benrahma can just take the reins and continue on from where Jesse Lingard left off. I think they signed Craig Dawson on a permanent, and they've also got Said Benrahma on a permanent. But I think the main problem for West Ham is that the Europa League has been added to the schedule. And obviously, playing those extra games, they're going to pick up a few knocks. They're going to pick up a few injuries. And that could hinder them in a couple of games. They could drop points, and they didn't drop points in last season. And they could, I think, just slightly drop down in the table. But I do think David Moyes is a good enough manager to keep them in the top half. Keep them going. Keep them fighting. Just be interesting. Obviously, if Michail Antonio goes down, who would they play striker? Because they sold Sebastian Haller to Ajax, so I don't know who their backup striker is. So that'll be a really interesting one as to what David Moyes does in that situation. But in 8th place, we've gone with Arsenal. And a couple of unpopular opinions there, maybe. I just do not think Arteta is good enough for the job at Arsenal. I think that if they want to finish any higher up than 8th, then Aubameyang needs to do better than last season. But I don't think he will. I think that Ben White's an upgrade on what they've got. But is he good enough to kind of sing? He's been their main signing this season. And is adding him to the squad from last season good enough to get them up those kind of 3 or 4 places that they want to be? And I don't think he is. Apparently they're interested in Aaron Ramsdale, who I think is a terrible goalkeeper and would be a huge waste of money. But as a Chelsea fan, sign him, Arsenal. Sign him. Waste your money on him. And I do think that this season they are probably going to rely on the youth to get the job done again. Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli. And I think if Arteta doesn't achieve Europa League, I think he'll be sacked at the end of the season. And I mean, that's if he even does complete the season, if he's not sacked mid-season, which is entirely possible. Next up in 7th place, we've got Spurs. So I think they're going to beat their North London rivals. And I think single-handedly Harry Kane is going to be pissed. I don't think Harry Kane's going to leave Tottenham. I think he's going to be pissed that he doesn't leave Tottenham. And I think he's just going to take it out on all the other teams in the Premier League. And I think he's just going to pick up where he left off last season in his partnership with Heung-min Son. And I think he is going to be the only reason. The only reason that I've got Spurs finishing 7th is because I think Harry Kane is going to have a very similar season to last year. And he's going to score a lot of goals. I also think, because obviously they're in the Europa Conference League, I think that's a bit easier. It's so much easier than the Europa League when you look at the teams that are in the Conference League. So they could probably play a much rotated side in that and still probably get to the final, but I think they must win that. I think they have to win that competition. If not, it's an embarrassment. They've obviously got Nuno Espirito Santo, had a poor season with Wolves last year. And, I was worrying when they were linked with Conte, I was worrying about this. But Nuno, I'm not too scared of Nuno. I think he's an alright manager, but they're probably going to play the 3 at the back. Do they have a good enough team for that? Obviously, they lost Alderweireld. They've replaced him with Romero from Atalanta. Davinson Sanchez isn't that good. Dyer's not that good. I don't think Hugo Lloris is that good anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that both Arsenal and Spurs finish 8th and 9th or 9th and 10th. Just depends on whether Harry Kane and Heung-min Son can carry Spurs further up the league. Now 6th, we've gone for Aston Villa. And I think they have replaced Jack Grealish brilliantly. I think they've got Danny Ings, Leon Bailey and Emi Buendia in that attacking trio to replace him. I think they're pretty incredible signings. I think every signing, similar to Crystal Palace, I think Aston Villa have had one of the best transfer windows in the league. They've signed them 3. They also signed Axel Tuanzebe on loan from Manchester United, so he's back up in the defence as well. And, if they get someone like James Ward-Prowse to the midfield, they could push a little bit higher up the league. But I think they've already got a great squad. The squad: Emi Martinez, Ollie Watkins, John McGinn, Douglas Luiz, a couple of good players in there, and I think that just the whole combined, Leon Bailey, Emi Buendia, Watkins, Bertrand Traore and El Ghazi, maybe even Trezeguet, they'll be able to plug the gap that was left by Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish got 6 goals, 10 assists last year. Them lot will, I think a couple of those will probably beat that. I think Emi Buendia will probably get close to that. Ollie Watkins could even get close to it. But Leon Bailey, I think he's going to be a dark horse this season. I think he's going to have a really good season. 5th place is probably expected. It is going to be Leicester City. 5th place for the 3rd year in a row, unfortunately for themselves. But I just think that's how it is. Unfortunately, they look really good in the Community Shield. Harvey Barnes I think he looked really good in the Community Shield. That Fofana injury, I don't think it's going to affect them that much because they didn't really have a full strength defence last year. They kept having little injuries here and there. Obviously, Johnny Evans, I think, is coming back from injury. But they've signed Vestergaard, obviously, so they're probably going to go Soyuncu and Vestergaard to start off the season. But I think their attack is probably just going to... They're going to be one of those teams that maybe I think they're going to be one of those teams at the start of the season, just whilst their defenders getting back to full fitness, they'll probably be one of those teams that will just outscore you. They've got Harvey Barnes, Maddison, Daka, Iheanacho, Jamie Vardy, who should have a better season than he did last season. He kind of had an Aubameyang-esque end to the season. But they are in Europa League, so again, little injuries, little kind of knocks can happen here and there, and it could derain them, and that's one of the reasons why I think Aston Villa could maybe even finish above Leicester, because of the Europa League and because they haven't the depth. They've not got the best of depth in certain areas, but they've got a really good squad. Kasper Schmeichel had a great Euros. Hopefully for them, he'll bring that into the coming season. They've got Wilfred Ndidi, who's a brilliant CDM. James Maddison, maybe he's gone a bit of a revenge tour after not getting picked for the Euros. But it'll be a really interesting one. And I do have them coming in 5th, unfortunately, for themselves. 4th. I think my top four is pretty much the exact same as everyone else's. But we've got Liverpool in fourth. So the main reason I've got them in fourth is because Virgil van Dijk's coming back this season, and I just wonder how long it will take him back. I just wonder how long it will take Virgil van Dijk to get back to his best. And for me, I think it's going to take him a few months at least to kind of get fully fit, back to his dominant ways from that injury. I wouldn't be surprised if he even picked up another small little injury because he's maybe being rushed back a bit too quick. But I think there's maybe a bit of a similar situation between Everton and Liverpool, a bit of negativity in the pre-season. Obviously, there's not been that much investment from the owners in the squad. I think Konate is probably their only main signing. And depending on what formation they play, Joe Gomez is back, Matip, Van Dijk and Konate. He maybe even might not be a first teamer. But there's also the Jordan Henderson contract situation. I don't think they want to offer Jordan Henderson a new contract, or they're not willing to pay him as much as he wants. And for me, that's crazy because Jordan Henderson, he's for me, Jordan Henderson would probably be a Liverpool club legend because he's won the Champions League, he's won the first ever Premier League, he was the captain that lifted him. He's a brilliant player as well, and he kind of makes that squad tick. So it'll be interesting how that evolves, and if he stays or if he goes, and if he goes, where does he go? But I think they've got fourth, and I think is another maybe, and another reason I think they might get just fourth is because they've still not got the depth. One injury in that attack, and an injury or two in that attack, and they're going to be forced to play Shaqiri in the first team. You know, Salah's going to get the goals. Will Sadio Mane be like last season, or will he improve? You've got to think that he's going to be better than last season. Firmino has never really been a goal scorer, so it'll be interesting how that one evolves. Jota, I think, has picked up a knock. I don't think he's fully fit to start the season. I'm not too sure on that one. But that'll be interesting how he does. If he continues his form from last season, they'll be fine. But I don't know. And I do think this is probably going to be the last season that we see Mane, Firmino and Salah. I do see Jurgen Klopp probably trying to rebuild that. And you've got to hope that FSG do invest in the squad. But if they don't, it'll be interesting to see. But I do think this run its course maybe. That front three, you need kind of something new. Something fresh. And I would say they probably keep Salah. They'd probably sell on Mane and Firmino. And they'd probably replace, obviously, Mane would probably be replaced by Jota. And they'd probably sign a new striker. But that's it for Liverpool. We've got them finishing fourth. In third, we've got Manchester United. And I think Manchester United seeing Man United's place in the league is fully depends on how they start the season. Because last year they started the season quite poorly, actually. There was that loss to Palace and whatnot. And if they'd started their season a little bit better, they would have been in the title race with Man City. I think they would have. I really think they would have. But they did start so poor. City didn't start the best, but I think they would have been there with them. But unfortunately for them, they was not. Obviously, Sancho is going to add a lot to the attack. He's going to give them goals. He's going to give them quite a lot of assists, I would imagine. I think the interesting thing at Manchester United is going to be who plays striker. Will it be Martial? Will it be Cavani? Will it be Greenwood? And I would go Greenwood. Imagine that front three of Rashford, Greenwood and Sancho would be really good. But obviously, Rashford's gone for surgery. He's not going to be back for a few months, which is unfortunate for them. But the Rashford injury, it's strange, that Rashford injury, because obviously he's going to miss a few months, and he's been struggling with injuries for a few seasons now, I think, kind of picking up little ones here and there. So maybe the rest will do him good, and maybe he'll come back fully rested, and he's probably hit the ground running, and he'll create some really good attacking. The attacking dynamic at Manchester United is going to be really interesting this season, with Bruno, Pogba probably going forward as well. Really interesting. Obviously, a lot of Man United fans think they need one more signing and they need a CDM, and then they'll be in the title race. I think all 4 of these teams will be in the title race for somewhat amount of time. Maybe it's till match day 25, and then United start dropping off, and then Liverpool drop off, and then it goes down to the final, whatever. But I do think this season, when they play together, when Varane obviously eventually officially signs and his quarantine's over and he's fully fit, I think Varane and Maguire will be one of the best centre-back partnerships in the Premier League. I think it would probably be better than Ruben Diaz and John Stones, because I think over watching the Euros, people have actually realised how good Harry Maguire is. It's too late to join. It's too late to join the Harry Maguire fan club. One of the founding members, boys. But yeah, I think they're going to prove to people that they are one of the best centre-back partnerships in the league. And I also think Paul Pogba will probably sign a new deal at United at some point this season. It'll probably be like 500k a week, but I think he will sign a new deal at United this season. I just think PSG, there's just no room for him at PSG. And if PSG signed Pogba, they'd get fucked by financial fair play. But can you fuck PSG with financial fair play, or will they just sue you with their multi-billionaire owners and they could just buy you UEFA or buy FIFA and be like, nah, we didn't break anything. But in second, we've got Manchester City. First place, we've got Chelsea. Now, the reason I think Man City are going to finish second is because I don't think they're going to sign Harry Kane. I think they're going to go with Jesus, and they're either going to go with Jesus up top or they're going to go with a false 9, and that's just not going to be able to get the same amount of numbers that Aguero did. And if they want to fit all their good players in the team, they're going to have to play Jack Grealish in the number 8. They're going to play KDB number 8. That's Rodri, they're going to be their only CDM. And I just think it's not defensively in the midfield, that is not really good enough just having Rodri. But I do, obviously, I mean, if they can, if Jesus can put up those numbers, if Jesus can get 15 to 20 goals, they'll probably win the league because of the creations from Jack Grealish, from Sterling, from Pau Torres, from Bernardo Silva if he stays, from KDB. They will create chances. Phil Foden will create chances as well. I think he'll have a really good season. Obviously, I think he's injured. I think he's still injured from the Euros final. I think he's still got that injury. So when he comes back, I think he'll obviously hit the round running if he can get into the team ahead of Sterling and Grealish. And another reason I think that they'll finish second, maybe even a bit lower, is because I think they're going to put full focus on trying to win the Champions League. I think they're going to, if they have a game on a Tuesday, if they play Man United on a Sunday, no, not Man United, that's a bit, they're going to go full strength against them. If they play Spurs on a Sunday, and they've got the Champions League semi-final on the Tuesday, I think they're going to play a rotational side against Spurs and probably won't care about that result. But they'll play the full-strength team on the semi-final. They'll try and win that because I think they want that Champions League trophy. And I think Pep wants it. Pep Guardiola. But number one, obviously, we've got Chelsea. And obviously, last reason we struggled, we only just got 4th place. And that's because we didn't finish, I don't know, our highest scoring player was Jorginho with 7 goals. We just signed Lukaku today, a couple of hours ago. Well, today of recording this. And I think he's going to fit the system really well. I think he's going to get the best out of the likes of Havertz, the likes of Werner. I think that Reece James, his crosses are now going to be properly kind of 4-1 in the box. I think that because they've had a full season now, I think Timo Werner, I think Havertz, I think Ziyech is going to have a really good season. He picked up a slight knock on his shoulder, I think it was, in the Super Cup yesterday. He was wearing a brace. It's unfortunate to see that because he was one of our better players in the pre-season. So it'll be interesting how that kind of works out, and if he does stay or if maybe even get sold, because there was links to AC Milan and whatnot. There's obviously Jorginho's having an incredible summer. He won the Euros, he won the Champions League, he won the Euros, and then he won the Super Cup. He's won 3 European trophies in 3 months, which is brilliant to see. N'Golo Kante, he's just getting better and better, it seems, which is incredible to see how he was already great and now he's just getting better and better. It's really, really good to see. It seems like the system under Thomas Tuchel is working really well. Just got to wait for the boys to get their fitness back. I think that's why they look so a bit fatigued yesterday. But yeah, alongside Man City, we've got the best squad depth in the league. So that doesn't really matter about fitness because we can play a second team and probably beat the likes of Watford with our second team. And like I said, anyone in that top four can probably win the league. If Liverpool, no injuries happen at Liverpool, they can win the league. If Man United, if Bruno and Pogba and Sancho and Rashford and Cavani and all these boys start scoring and start firing, and they start actually winning the games against this kind of teams that they drop points against, they'll win the league. If City don't focus fully on the Champions League, they'll win the league. If they can get the goals that Aguero normally would have, they'll win the league. But yeah, I think this season is going to be one of the best seasons we have seen in a very long time, and it may be even one of the best seasons we've ever seen. So that was the table. We are now going to go over the awards, and we are going to start with the Ballon d'Or. Got to be Jorginho. Got to back the boy. Messi and Jorginho, I think, are the two most likely. Jorginho purely for the fact that he's been a key figure in a Chelsea team that won the Champions League and the Super Cup, and he was key in an Italy team that won the Euros. I think he's going to be well up there, well up there. As my player of the year for the Premier League, I'm going to go N'Golo Kante. Obviously, if I think Chelsea are going to win, it's probably going to be a Chelsea player that wins the player of the year. I think it's going to be Kante. My young player of the year, I've gone with Kai Havertz. Golden Boot, I think Harry Kane, as I said, I think he's going to be the main contributor for Spurs. He's going to probably get like 50% of their goals. He's going to come through him. Playmaker of the year, I think Jadon Sancho is going to win that one. Golden Glove, Edouard Mendy. Gotta respect it, gotta love it. The FA Cup, I think Villa are going to win a bit of silverware this year. I think they're going to win the FA Cup. As for the Carabao Cup, I think Man City's dominance is going to end in that one. And I think Man United are going to win that one. I think Man United, Ollie needs to win a bit of silverware this season, considering how much money he has invested in the squad. If he doesn't, I think he probably should leave, should walk away. Obviously, he signed a new contract, so it might not happen, but I think he should walk away and let someone else take over. As I said, the Conference League, I think Spurs should win that. They're probably the best team in there. They need to win it. It's embarrassing if they don't. Europa League, I've got Leicester, and I think they're going to win it. So they will get Champions League football because of their Europa League win. And as for the UCL, you're probably thinking PSG, City. I think Bayern Munich are going to win it. They've got Julian Nagelsmann as their new manager. I think he's going to win it. He'll probably be the youngest manager to ever win the Champions League. But I think Bayern Munich are going to be back. I think obviously they won it 2 years ago, and who did they get knocked out by? They got knocked out by PSG this year, and I do think that they are going to go all the way. I think they'll win. I think PSG. I don't rate PSG's chances to win the Champions League. I think defensively and in the midfield, they have no one. Ramos is past it. When Chelsea played Real Madrid, Ramos really wasn't that good. Wijnaldum is more of an attacking midfielder. They've got Herrera, Idrissa Gana Gueye, Danilo Pereira. These are names, they're not that good. I don't rate them off the ball. Like pressing and all that, I don't think they're going to press as hard as the likes of Chelsea or Man City or Bayern. I think there's 3 or 4 teams that I rate higher chances to actually win the Champions League over PSG. And so I've gone Bayern. So that was it for my predictions. Next up, we are going to go for Sonny's league predictions. I'm not going to go as in-depth, but we are just going to talk about them. So he has gone for the relegation zone. He has gone for Watford, Southampton and Burnley. So the exact same as myself. Great minds think alike. He thinks that Palace are going to finish a bit lower in 17th. 16th, he's got Brentford. He's got Norwich finishing as the highest of the newly promoted teams. Newcastle in 14th, Wolves in 13th, Brighton 12th, Leeds 11th, Everton 10th, 9th is Arsenal, West Ham in 8th, Villa 7th, Spurs 6th, Leicester 5th, and his top 4 is Liverpool 4th, Man United 3rd, Man City in 2nd, and Chelsea in 1st. So the same as ourselves. And as for his awards, he has got Player of the Year, he's got Harry Kane. So obviously he thinks Harry Kane is going to continue his fine form, he's going to carry Spurs. His Young Player of the Year is also Kai Havertz. His Golden Boot is also Harry Kane. His Playmaker of the Season is KDB. Golden Glove is Edouard Mendy. Sonny thinks PSG are going to win the Champions League. He thinks Liverpool are going to get knocked out of the Champions League in the group stages and win the Europa League. Very, very risky one there. The FA Cup, he thinks Man United are going to win, and he thinks Man United are going to do the domestic double with the FA Cup win and the Carabao Cup win. So I'm going to leave a template for the league 20th to 1st and the awards that I've done in the description. Tell me what you think. And as for the video, it is done. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please like, subscribe, and peace.